Distinguished participants, it is now my pleasure to invite Mr. Mushtaq Memon, who is the Regional Coordinator for Chemicals and Pollution Action, United Nations Environment Programme, Asia Pacific Regional Office, to moderate the panel discussion on future challenges and solutions on air quality management.
Thank you, Olia. Good afternoon, colleagues and excellencies. So as we are now going to take up a very, very important topic to discuss, that how we address the future challenges. It's not about only the air pollution, but it is about how we address the air pollution. So there are two different things. So the air pollution is increasing, all these challenges there, but the way we are working together and how we can really work together to address the air pollution. So this is starting. So let me welcome first our esteemed panelist, Ms. Maria Cristina Zucca. You already know, Head of Pollution and Health Unit in United Nations Environment Programme. Then online we have Mr. Kamei, Director, Office for International Cooperation, Environment Management Bureau in Ministry of Environment, Japan. And then we have also here in the room, Ms. Sojung, International Cooperation Advisor, Ministry of Environment, Republic of Korea. Then also my great mentor, Ms. Siwaporn Rungsiyanon, a specialized expert on air quality and noise management, Inspector, Ministry of Natural Resources and Environment, Thailand. And then my friend, Mr. Matthew Perkins, Economic Affairs Officer, Environment and Development Division in United Nations, also ESCAP. So this is here. So before we start, as just to give a few thoughts that we see the air pollution is critical, but it was critical even 2-3 centuries back with all the smoke and all those things. And that time the focus was more concentrated focus on air pollution in many developed countries and also on the water. So, but recently what we saw that air pollution focus has been diluted. Initially, every other areas, whether you talk about renewable energy, you talk about the mobility, you talk about buildings and so on. So they were trying to be the co-benefits of air pollution action. And then now air pollution action has become a co-benefit of all those other areas of climate change and biodiversity and so on. So you can see the focus has shifted and we become a subset, which is a very, very challenging point, not only to raise the financing, but as I mentioned, the action agenda for that one. So we will see from our esteemed panelists, but also I will encourage the participants in the room to really guide us that how we can bring back air pollution as the top focus, so we can bring back our blue skies, we can bring back our public health, and we can bring back our diversity, biodiversity, and so on. Just before this, I give you an example. In 1992, I was at the University of Bradford, and my professor, and Bradford was very famous for industries and textiles and all that. So my professor told us that one day there was a labor strike. So his father brought him to the mountain and said, this is your lifetime opportunity to see Bradford from the top of the mountain, because that time industries were shut down and no air pollution. So air pollution used to be really, really major issue, even in Japan, 1960s and so on, in Republic of Korea, everywhere. So now still it's a big issue. If you look on the health records, if you look on the loss of biodiversity, the species, if you look on even in Ulaanbaatar, when I went there, I saw the many new buildings on the top of the mountain where this is old Buddha like that. And then all the rich people, they are moving up to the mountains. So this is also a lot of equity issues, gender issues, and so on with the air pollution. So let's come together and see how we can work together to address air pollution, which is such a critical but very invisible or silent. But luckily now we have a union resolution up there, we have a regional platforms up there, we have a national agendas up there and local actions up there. So at that note, let me first invite my colleague, Ms. Maria Cristina Zucca, And for her, like we are going to hear more on the how this UNEP resolution can help us to bring that focus back. Over to Cristina.
Thank you very much, Mushtaq. So I have very few slides. Yes, we can go to the next one. Next, thank you. Anyway, I can also talk. We heard a lot about the UNEP resolution, so I'm not going to say too much in general, but maybe we can go a little bit deeper into what the resolution requested UNEP and governments and other stakeholders to do. So the resolution, first of all, is the third in a row of UNEP resolutions on air quality. And there was a sentiment that though air quality has already been established as a key mandate of UNEP, there would be a need to reinvigorate this, attention to this topic in the global agenda. So the resolution acknowledges that there has been progress so far, but it also encourages more decisive action from member states. It also invites several entities, including regional organizations, finance organizations, and others to take action and to contribute, for example, to strengthening the means of implementation. In terms of the specific request to UNEP, we have two major requests. We have already heard from Juliette from UNEP CCAC about the global online knowledge platform that is being developed. And the other specific request to UNEP is to form and facilitate a cooperation network on air quality. Next. Okay, so of course the task doesn't end at forming a network. It needs to also facilitate the functions or the tasks of the network. This is, of course, a lot of text, but this is exactly verbatim what the resolution is asking the network to do. These are inter alia, so of course the network could also grow, to do beyond this. In summary, if we want to summarize these functions, I would say the focus is on awareness raising, strengthening air quality monitoring capacities, information and knowledge sharing, facilitating the sharing of expertise from member states who have strong advanced capabilities and could actually help maybe other member states who are interested, supporting capacity building, including through mutual learning, and then supporting and enhancing regional air quality initiatives. Next. So now I want to go a bit deeper into the regional dimension, this last point that I mentioned. So the network would support the development of regional air quality arrangements where they are not there. And in particular, this includes an Africa Clean Air program. And at the same time also enhance, as appropriate, existing regional air quality initiatives. We have several actually in various regions. For example, in Latin America and the Caribbean, in West Asia, of course, in Europe, in the wider Europe region and North America, we have LERTAP. But here we are in this region discussing particularly the possible collaboration, added value, contribution from Asia-Pacific ongoing initiatives. This is probably the region that has one of the regions with the strongest set of initiatives that facilitate action. You see some logos on this slide already, but of course this is an initial list which we already have in the resolution, but we could go beyond. Key, of course, is the wrap-up, which we have heard about and we will hear more from next week. Of course, EANET, ESCAP, and many others. The resolution also specifically requests, or actually invites, you cannot request because these are external bodies, regional and sub-regional cooperation bodies and initiatives, as well as financing institutions, to consider developing and implementing regional solutions to address air pollution, including by coordinating efforts to develop and implement air quality actions, and by considering setting and cooperating on goals for regional air quality improvement. So the focus of this particular part of the resolution is on regional solutions development and uptake which the network aims to, not the network, actually the resolution overall aims to strengthen. But I just wanted to say that this, all of these functions, of course, will play a role in making the network and or the overall resolution implementation successful. Next, please. So maybe I just want to focus a bit in general on the approach that we aim to take in implementing the resolution. First of all, the resolution and its implementation needs to add value. We don't want replication. But so how do we add value? We can connect regions, we connect entities, disciplines, initiatives, expertise, needs and solutions. And I feel that's a lot what happened this morning. We can already see, I think, in action. It needs to build strongly on existing mechanisms. So again, no replication, but connection. It can give space for champions of efforts to improve air quality. So once we go into the details of developing specific work streams, you know, there could be specific roles for different member states, interested member states and other organizations and entities to maybe facilitate progress on those work streams. And so we intend to take a phased approach, which looks first at launching the network, launching the knowledge platform, which probably will be the first delivery. We continue to support and work with regional initiatives depending on the stage they are at, while we also identify the specific ways in which we operationalize the various tasks of the network, so developing specific work streams. And then as a second phase, we need to support and sustain the work of the network. So it's important that we don't just create an empty shell, and we want to have ownership and broad participation so that the work continues and is useful. Key partners are mentioned in the resolution, including interested member states, UN agencies, UN regional economic commissions, multilateral environmental agreements, international, regional and sub-regional bodies, organizations and initiatives. And then, of course, this is just the beginning. This is just the core, but more entities and expertise and so on are welcome to be part of the network. Next, please. This is my last slide, and basically, based on what I said, I just would like to use the opportunity to also gather insights and views on how we can make global cooperation adding value to the air quality agenda, including to the specific efforts at regional level. So you see some questions on the blue part. How can global cooperation build on, give visibility, and further advance the objectives of regional initiatives, such as WRAP-UP, EANET, and others? What can we gain from stronger inter-regional collaboration? And how can we match ambition and investment? I think this is one of the key issues, maybe not everywhere, but in many countries in the region and beyond. I think some key lines of, let's say, answer in a way, the need to mobilize the means of implementation. I mentioned that this is a specific ask of the resolution, which is inviting member states, regional economic integration organizations, intergovernmental organizations, private sector, including industry, foundations and non-governmental organizations and other stakeholders to help mobilize means of implementation. The other important aspect is, as I mentioned, developing and implementing regional solutions specific to the regions. And then that can also take the form of setting and cooperating on specific goals for regional air quality improvement in a given region. So I think I will stop here, inviting also for inputs, reflections, and also expression of interest in this early stage of implementation of the resolution. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Cristina. So my personal observation here is science says that air pollution can be efficiently handled at regional level. when you look at the other, like climate change is a global, plastics is being discussed global, but when you look at the Basel Convention, it's more national, hazardous waste, and so on. So air pollution could be efficiently handled that. So the format here is that if you have any burning or clarification questions on the resolution, then we open the floor for 1-2 minutes. Otherwise, the discussions will be towards end. So any quick clarifications, anything on the resolution to Cristina? Okay, so in this way, we will come to the more discussions. So the format is that first we talk about the global, like this resolution, UNEP resolution. Then we go to the national governments to learn about their actions. And then we come to the real mechanism at the regional mechanism. So Matthew will be then coming there from UNESCAP. And that's why the role of regional mechanisms is very important. So now I move to the national governments in alphabetic order. So first, let me put a few questions which are similar to all, as we want to learn that how we can move forward on this future action. So we would like to request the national governments to share with us the actions they took that resulted in concrete improvements in air quality. And what are the primary sources of air pollution in your respective country, and how did you effectively address those challenges? And also, please share with us 1 or 2 future challenges or priorities in your respective countries that you and all of us together can address that. And then also, how do you see the role of international cooperation, such as UNEP or regional mechanisms such as RAP-UP, ESCAP, EANET, and others? And finally, if you can kindly provide insights on how the learning from the past and the knowledge sharing amongst the countries benefited you, and also potential leapfrogging for better air quality. So we can come together to learn from your country, or you can learn from other countries, and so on. So these are the few questions, generic questions for all the 3 countries which are here. So first of all, let me go to the Japan. And so Mr. Yu Kamei, as I already introduced, so he's from Ministry of Environment, Japan. So floor is yours, Mr. Yu Kamei.
Thank you, Dr. Memon, and good evening, everybody. My name is Yu Kamei from Ministry of Environment, Japan. I'm in charge of air and water environment management policy. It's a great honor for me to be invited to this session as a speaker. Thank you for giving me this great opportunity. So regarding the first question, let me introduce the achievements and the challenges of the air quality improvement in Japan. In the 1950s and 60s, heavy environmental pollution caused by population growth and rapid economic growth was a severe problem in Japan. Since then, Japan has been taking various measures, including setting air quality standards for substances such as nitrogen oxides, sulfur dioxides, and fine particulate matters, as well as implementing regulations on factories and automobiles emissions by the Air Pollution Control Act. As a result of these efforts, we carried out significant improvements in air quality in Japan. Currently, many air pollutants meet 100% of air quality standards. However, there are some challenges remained. As for the oxidants, the achievement rate of the environmental standard still remains low. Therefore, Japan developed the working plan in 2022 and is further considering measures for oxidants. In addition, towards carbon neutral, as ammonia is expected to be widely used in the future as a fuel and hydrogen carrier, to promote efforts that are compatible with the control of emissions to the atmospheric environment is inevitable. So, based on UNEP Resolution 5/2 on sustainable nitrogen management, Japan holds a relevant ministries meeting and the advisory committee since last year to formulate the National Action Plan on Sustainable Nitrogen Management. And as for the second question, let me share 2 future challenges and priorities that I think we should address. The first one is financing clean air action through climate funds and other funds. In recent years, climate change mitigation measures have been more prioritized, and compared to that, the financial resources mainly for air quality improvement is limited. In this context, Japan has established a joint crediting mechanism, JCM, in 2013. JCM projects are mainly aimed at reduction of carbon dioxide, but many of them also contribute to reduce air pollution. The second one is using satellite data to air quality monitoring. Air quality monitoring is essential for air quality management, but monitoring stations and equipments are expensive. In some countries, it may be difficult to install new monitoring equipment, and maintaining a monitoring network in the entire country also needs so many costs. For this reason, it is necessary to utilize satellite monitoring in a complementary manner with ground-based monitoring. Satellite monitoring can use effectively to modeling. Japan also plans to launch the next climate change observation satellite with the world's highest resolution of a 1 kilometer mesh this year. We also plan to monitor nitrogen oxide and to be used for inventory verification of air pollutants. We'd like to collaborate with relevant countries to address the issues of air quality monitoring in Asian region. So as for the last question, towards better air quality, international cooperation and regional cooperation is significantly important. Based on the UNEP 6 resolution on promoting regional cooperation on air pollution to improve air quality globally, we should promote regional cooperation, effectively using the existing organizations and initiatives. Japan is working with United Nations Environmental Programme and Clean Air Asia to improve air quality. In 2014, we launched APCAP, the Asia-Pacific Clean Air Partnership, in collaboration with UNEP to promote the accumulation of comprehensive knowledge of air quality in Asia. In recent years, we are also focusing to promote co-benefits or multi-benefits approach of air quality improvement and climate change mitigation measures. Japan is also implementing joint research project in collaboration with ESA, the International Institute for Applied System Analysis. In addition, EANET has large potential to contribute to the air quality improvement in this region. We are implementing and planning various types of projects as EANET project to promote air quality monitoring, knowledge sharing, and capacity building. Japan will continue to work together with you all towards better air quality in Asia. Let me stop here. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Yu Kamei. So any quick questions or any clarifications? Otherwise, I will request Kamei-san to stay with us, so because our discussions will be towards the end. So now let me invite Ms. Sojung from Ministry of Environment, Korea, for the same set of questions. Over to you, Ms.
Thank you for the interesting question, Mr. Mushtaq, and thank you for inviting me today here in very meaningful event today. The Korean government actually highlights air pollution control and management as one of its national top priorities, and efforts have been made for so long. But like 2014 to 2015, finders was in the middle of kind of skyrocketing concern by the citizens. As I remember that that time, according to Google Korea, the finders was listed as a top keyword searched by Korean citizens. It was like followed by very famous Korean movies and soap opera. So with this urgent call and attention by the Korean citizens. Korean government set the comprehensive measures with ambitious actions and unprecedented measures to improve air quality. And this package has gone through several steps of revision on an evolutionary basis because policies takes time to bring a result. So it never it fell far short of satisfying the citizens' expectation. So this has we even enacted the Special Act on Finders Reduction and Management, which is the first example to the world. And therefore, the question about main source of air pollution, of course, it's varying depending on what pollutant it is. But in Korea, for PM 2.5, top 4 sources are rod and non-rod mobile sources, fugitive dust, and energy transport and storage. And for SOx, its production process contributes a lot. And for NOx, a majority of emissions from vehicle sources. And for VOCs, the use of organic solvents. So as we see these different sources of air pollution, the country has implemented a broad set of initiatives to support clean air. So the actions are identified through transportation, daily surroundings, industry, and power generation, meteorological forecasting, and health, under the vision of healthy people and clean air. So the basic directions are domestic emissions reduction through efficient regulation and supporting system. And second, which was very important, was contingency measure in the case of high concentration episode and for highly polluted season from March to December to March. And for third, responsive actions against the long-range transport air pollution through international cooperation. So the basic directions are again supported by more detailed subcategories of key strategies that focus on public health protection from air pollution. So to name a few, tighter permissible emission standards and high-tech monitoring system and solid scientific foundation to support the air pollution management system, and phase out old diesel vehicles and qualified power plants with accelerating zero-emission vehicles and transition to new renewable energy sources. So as presented by other Korean delegates, in recent years, we see remarkable achievements regarding the air quality improvement in Korea. Particularly for PM 2.5, it recorded the lowest level in 2021 and 2022 since its official monitoring began in 2015. And also, for the zero emission vehicles, the number has increased like 5 times in 5 years from 2019 to 2023, while all the diesel vehicles decreased sharply. For challenges, yeah, we have still many things to be done. So like Mr. Kamei already mentioned, it's a like kind of similar opinions with him, but I would mention 2 things for the challenges, and the first one is ozone. Contrary to other air pollutants, which like has been on the right track of decreased trend, ozone has shown steady onward tendency. So this is quite complicating. And according to our past meeting with our colleagues from China and Japan, they are also experiencing similar atmospheric condition. I'm sorry, my voice is terrible. So this is definitely a thing that we need to focus on together and solve together. And yeah, and then also it is very harmful when it's acute. And second, more coherence and harmonization toward cleaner air at the regional level is required, as Kamei-san highlighted. We have a great and diverse cooperated channel supported by UN agencies. And like we have made like progressive results so far. Like I've been working with my colleagues from UN, and then we have promoted many cooperative projects with the United Nations agencies, and then we made a really great success. But we still see the gaps between countries to country, and then there's a discrepancy between a country to country in terms of technology capacity and human and financial resources, monitoring network, and other knowledge gaps are also we can notice definitely. So other colleagues of mine also notice it is very important to make smooth knowledge transition and secure a solid capacity building foundation to bridge this gap and to solve this problem. And as we always say, air pollution does not know the national boundaries. No single country can solve the problem by itself. But the international collaboration is important for a country, because when a country really have ambitious actions, it could attenuate its progressive result from the regional influence. So when it comes to air pollution, we need to harmonize pollution standard and commonly pursued goals, and balance monitoring network through the region with smooth technology transition, as I mentioned, and knowledge and information shift. And in this sense, I think EANET, EPCAP, and other UN cooperated channels have the very important and unique role. And wrap-up will be I think a sort of kind of great guidance to lead them. And I hope this answer your questions. And sorry for my voice. And I think a Korean government need more action for the air pollution, like a bad throat pain. And for more information and discussion, please do not hesitate to contact me. Thank you.
Thank you. And yeah, thank you. And sorry for pushing you to reply a very long question. So thank you very much. And let's now move to Siwaporn and from Thailand experiences.
Thank you, Mustak. Good afternoon to everyone, and I'm very happy to be here to see many family friends here. And first question, Thailand, we are not different from other countries. We face a big, serious air pollution for more than decades. And these are what we have done so far. But we didn't do this in the same time. We develop and improve it time by time. I think this is the standardized methodology that everyone who wants to solve air pollution, we will follow this one. So for Thailand, we do air quality monitoring, we do impact assessment, we do emission inventory, we do source control. When we talk about source control, it means you have both standard to control it. You have to control at the source, that is emission standard, and also ambient air quality standard. We also do air quality modeling to forecast the data, right? And right now, I think this is very important right now, technology and innovation, right? our world is, move forward very quickly, right? Knowledge and also technology is moving very quickly. We need to follow it up. And the more thing that we found that is very important is communication. We need to have a good data. We need to have a good communication to our people, right? Because we need to do forecast to report to our public and then to tell them how to protect themselves the day that we have a air pollution situation, right? And the government, the Royal Thai government, we take this as the top priority concern of our policy. And from 2019, we leverage our work by declaring PM 2.5 as national agenda. We used to have other air pollutants like sulfur dioxide, carbon monoxide, nitrous oxide, also total suspended particulate, but all also right now. Our challenge is PM 2.5. And future challenge is from open burning. When I talk about open burning source to create PM 2.5, I don't talk about just only Thailand, but my concern is all over our region, especially in Mekong sub-region, because we are, air pollution is transboundary, right? Sometimes Thailand create and affect our neighbor, sometimes our neighbor affect and carry to Thailand. So we need to think about the role of regional. This is when the international organization like UNEP, ESCAP, or etc. start to jump in, you can be our center. You can link us together because we cannot solve air pollution alone, right? We need regional. So right now, what I think that international cooperation could do, first, you can help us to find common understanding. We can together set ultimate goal for our region, right? We can set our strategies, and the most important is implementation plan. I think we talk about the theory for a long time. I think this one, I talk about this like last 20 years ago, right? But we still use the same strategy, but right now it's getting closer. And Thailand is ready to share with our neighbors. And the learning from the past knowledge sharing between countries is very so much important because we need to go together, right? Air pollution, we cannot solve it alone. We need to have a very strong cooperation between our region and also across region. As right now, we are going to have Africa Clean Air Program. And I think ASEAN region, we are ready to share with them. We could have South-South cooperation to share what is success by ASEAN and what is not, and how to follow what things should not be done. And that's all of my first. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So, Kun Siwaporn mentioned about a few things, which is a very good transition to bring my colleague, Mr. Matthew Perkins here. So I suppose she's asking to facilitate the international cooperation for the national actions. She is also asking that how the South-South cooperation could be done. So again, like a facilitation for that one. So in this way, we have a lot of lessons to be learning from especially wrap-up, which is very new. And then I would like to request Mr. Matthew Perkinson to tell us that how this regional action platform is working and what lessons we have already, and that might also be helpful for Cristina to bring back to Nairobi. So over to Matthew, please.
Thanks very much. Could I have the remote, please? I think it's just to your right, thanks. And just to confirm for the timing, I have 5 to 7 minutes for my remarks. Yep. Okay, great. Okay, so thanks everyone. I realize we're getting a little bit late in the afternoon, so I'll try to be succinct. The purpose of my remarks is to describe how, under the agreement of the Regional Action Program, we are taking things forward in action and support to the member countries. So I'm going to be going through our overall ESCAP portfolio of air pollution projects and summarizing very briefly what each one is offering. The objective is that by the end of my presentation, you may have seen something that could benefit your country or your organization, and please come and talk to us about participating in these projects so that we can really make an impact on the air pollution. So I'm going to be summarizing these 6 projects. This is the currently open portfolio of projects across ESCAP on the theme of air pollution. So I'll just be doing about a minute per project. So the first one I'd like to speak on is the project for building the Pan-Asia Partnership for Geospatial Air Pollution Information. This project is related directly to the geostationary environment monitoring satellite that has been collecting data for about the last 3 years. ESCAP has been running a project with the support of the Republic of Korea to build capacity in Southeast Asia to utilize this data, to integrate it into the decision support systems of the countries in this area, to be able to have very rapid consistent measurements of how the pollution is flowing, where it's coming from, and where it's headed to. I do want to emphasize that as an important component of this project is the Pandora spectrometers. These are high-resolution, ground-based sensor units that are being provided under this project that give a unique capacity to measure the column of air above cities. We've heard a lot about how the story of air pollution is very much a story of urbanization. And these sensors are very helpful for being able to collect data on this. So we would encourage countries to give due consideration to hosting one of these Pandora sensors, which are available for free under the project. So the next project I'd like to talk about is CASA. This is digital tools for air pollution under the Clean Air for Sustainable ASEAN project. So under this project, ESCAP is bringing to bear innovative digital technology applications to use data in unique and helpful ways in order to empower and focus action on reducing air pollution. One of the activities that I'd like to highlight is coming up in July, in which we'll be undertaking a training to use AI approaches to large data sets, Google Earth Engine in this case, to be able to reduce the cost of developing data science solutions and empower countries to take quick and effective action. Some examples of the types of tools that can be created with these data sources include the Surveyor Mekong Air Quality Explorer, which is a long-term partner of ESCAP, as well as, of course, the work that EANET has been doing that we've been speaking about already today. So these activities will be integrated with ESCAP's intergovernmental work in the upcoming ministerial conference in Astana, Kazakhstan. So we'll have a great connection between the technological and the intergovernmental there. I'm just going to mention that this exists because my colleague Anshuman will be providing much more detail about this particular project. This is obviously the project that has brought all of us here today. It will be running for about another 2 years and includes stock taking and platform building and all that kind of good stuff. But because there's a dedicated presentation on it, I'm only going to mention it here as being part of the bouquet. The next project I'll summarize is on operationalizing the RAP-AP. This project will be running through the end of this year, and it aims to bring together the intergovernmental mandates with the brain trust of these open-ended working groups to take the inventory of needs that was established under the Regional Action Program, prioritize those, and then develop a policy brief that outlines how to implement those particular solutions. And looking around this room, I'm happy to say that I know that some of the people in here are members of the open-ended working group. So that's obviously very gratifying to see, and we would love to have inputs from all those of you who can participate in that to continue to give us the benefit of your feedback and expertise. The next meeting of the working groups will be held in June, and as I said, they will be completing their work by the end of this year. So in this context, I'd also like to mention one of my favorite projects. I'm very glad that it's in its second phase. This project is being principally implemented by ESCAP's specialized entity on agriculture, CSOM. This has done some great work and is now in a second phase of working really directly on the ground with farmers that are at high risk of biomass burning and things like this, to look at the business models, how to best use sustainably agricultural mechanization to reduce the incentives to burn and bring agriculture in these areas into a more sustainable paradigm. And so that is in those three countries. So then the final project that I will summarize here today is this, our regional approaches to reducing pollution in transboundary airsheds. I think one of the things that was very clear in the discussions that we had with member countries and stakeholders was that the increasing acknowledgement that air pollution is not stopping at arbitrary lines on the map, that we have a shared commons in the atmosphere around us, and that we're all very interconnected and need to take this co-benefits approach. So instead of working in specific jurisdictions, we're going to be working in environmental clusters, and those are the airsheds. So ESCAP has undertaken a request for expression of interest. We're very happy to have had Laos and Cambodia join in this project, and we look forward to working with those countries over the coming several years. We've also had Bhutan express interest in joining this project. We would certainly welcome an expression of interest from Thailand and Vietnam. We think it would make a lot of sense for those countries to collaborate in this way, and we would certainly urge and encourage Thailand to join in this project. I do want to highlight that one of the key components in the innovations of this project is that previously we've done really strong work with cities specifically in empowering local level action. We're building off that same approach to include multi-country cooperation agreements and data sharing agreements. So this will allow and empower these the participating countries to be sharing data with each other more effectively in a South-South cooperation kind of way. So in this context, the project has funding available built into it to support the participating countries to help accelerate the actions on the ground to reduce air pollution. And that will be customized in a beneficiary-driven process for each country and city that's participating. We put some sort of example types of interventions that we can fund under this project and in the direct support to the cities and countries in a tranche running from October 24 to December 26 to have the intervention and the sustainability. So that is those 6 projects. I did it in 8 minutes and 57 seconds. So hopefully that was the right speed. But if you saw anything there that interested you, I would welcome answering any questions you have now or after the session. Thanks very much. Back to you, Mr.
Thank you, Matthew. Thank you. Okay, thank you very much for all the panelists. And before we open the floor, I have received 3 requests from intervention from the floor. So first, let me invite them, and then we can open the floor. Then the second name I have is Ms. Catherine Corpus. She's an expert on AFT's air quality improvement project from France.
All right. Thank you very much for having us. Let me just inform you a little bit about the government of France modest contribution on the discussion. This is also intended to support ASEAN. So this is the Air Quality Improvement Program for ASEAN. So under this project, we have several components. We are going to be developing, or there are 3 guidelines intended for emissions inventory. There's also composition analysis of PM, and then of course the popular air quality and health co-benefits of climate change. And then we have 4 capacity building programs intended to support these guidelines. And then also to further the discussion, we have 2 study tours. One is intended to showcase air quality management initiatives in the region. Another one is intended to highlight monitoring in Europe, particularly in France. So I know that there's a lot of questions about what ASEAN is doing on these things. We are open to partnerships. Of course, like some of our initiatives are right now being implemented together with partners like CITEPA. However, we are also having tenders for our projects. So right now there's an ongoing tender for capacity building for data management system. So if anyone is interested, we are willing to share the information on the tender process. And also, if you'd like to know more about our program, I have a couple of brochures here that I can share with you. Otherwise, I could also refer you to the AFD, to the Expertise France website for more information. Thank you. That's all.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So now I would like to request my friend, Mr. Paul Grimes, former Secretary of New South Wales Treasury, for intervention. Please, sir.
And thank you very much. I'm very pleased to provide some comments this afternoon from an Australian perspective. As was noted, my name is Paul Grimes. I'm an independent consultant that has been engaged by the University of Queensland and the Australian Department of Foreign Affairs and Trade on regional air quality cooperation. I'm also a former secretary of the Australian Department of the Environment and a former secretary of the Australian Department of Agriculture. So my interest in these matters is long-standing. Australia very much welcomes the opportunity to contribute towards building regional cooperation towards better air quality in all of our countries. We particularly welcome the focus on sharing learning and insights from our different experiences. We're particularly happy to share our insights and learnings, and we're also very keen to learn from our counterparts on what we should be doing. Later this week, Australia will be hosting a regional dialogue on air quality and transboundary haze with Mekong sub-region countries in Chiang Mai. So this UNEP workshop is ideally timed ahead of those discussions in Chiang Mai. Our aim should be very much to cooperate together so that all of our efforts to contribute to that goal of better air quality are realised. And that important message to contribute towards building common understanding of the joint challenge that we have. There is great value in exchange and learning from each other, but in doing so, never forgetting that point that was made in our discussions this morning, and that is that each of our countries is going to have its own economy, culture, system of government. All of these things contribute in a way that there'll be no single solution that applies just in each country. Our solutions need to be adapted to the different circumstances of our countries. So our context in Australia is obviously very different, but we would hope that some of the things that we've learnt would still be of interest to other countries. In Australia, air quality management principally rests with our subnational governments. So it's managed by our states and territories. And it's, of course, those states and territories that need to manage air quality outcomes on a continental scale. So we do have some insights in managing air quality across different governments and bringing governments together, even if those governments are subnational governments within the same country. And so in that context, I hope some of our experiences will be relevant to thinking about cooperation and collaboration on a larger scale across national governments. While we certainly haven't solved all aspects of air quality, and while we ourselves have much more to do, we have made significant progress in recent decades. And so what have we found successful in our own experience? To start with, one of those most critical things was to ensure that it was an effective national strategy, something that's been remarked upon many times in our discussions here today. And that national strategy being made up of foundational pillars. You see common themes that are emerging across our countries. One is that importance of having common standards across governments and common targets. With that commitment to monitoring and sharing data, publishing data in a timely way to drive accountability, to create that impetus for our governments to be focused on delivering tangible outcomes. The second element, another one that has been spoken of today, is building around emissions reduction measures, practical strategies out on the ground. And for us in Australia, they've focused around fuel standards, wood heaters in our cities and towns, and burning in our urban areas, and combating each of those areas of air pollution. Partnerships and cooperation are essential, and another key element of our national strategy, together with better knowledge, education and awareness, and particularly encouraging governments to build longer-term strategies, to have plans that extend over decades, really picking up on that point that Andrea Hinton highlighted in her presentation this morning of the power of foresighting, looking out over the horizon and thinking about tackling our challenges in new and different ways. Along the way, we've learnt some very important messages and lessons, and one of the most important lessons was one that was highlighted in our discussions again this morning, and that is the importance of bringing a genuinely multidisciplinary approach to our efforts to tackle air pollution. Among many other things, there are often community and political pressures that need to be managed, and we need to find ways to effectively allow those pressures to be managed and ultimately for us to deliver really successful programs and policies. For us, while we have seen success, we do have challenges. And the biggest challenge for us is one that has also been mentioned many times today, and that is the challenge of climate change. We are now seeing our natural environment changing in a way that is making it much more susceptible to wildfires, or bushfires as we call them in Australia, where we're seeing large-scale episodes of bushfires with really significant impacts on our air quality in our cities, something that we generally do not experience so much of. We're also seeing increasing risks of dust storms with periods of increased drying. So as we're dealing with these challenges, we're going to be very keen to learn from our colleagues in other countries, as well as to continue to share our experiences. So I would like to thank everyone for an excellent discussion here today, and particularly for the panel for a very insightful discussion this afternoon. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Insightful. So now I open, and before opening, let me request also my two colleagues that down the road, I will request them for also introducing our other regional work, like Kay, I will request on the ESCAP, on the thematic working group on the air pollution and health under the regional forum for health and environment, and also for the Clean Air Day for Blue Skies. And then also, I don't know if Glenda is still around, maybe she would like to also talk about the better air quality BAQ, but down the road, but let's open the floor first. So anyone, please. You can introduce your regional also. You can ask us questions, but also you can introduce any regional actions or your feedback on any of the regional actions or national actions you may have. So it will be really useful for us to collect all your insights. Like you are listening, but I want us to listen to you also. So please. Okay, sir, at the back.
Thank you. I'm Brad again from FAO. I'm just going to do a small promotion for an FAO program that's only just begun. This is called the Global Fire Management Hub. It's based out of headquarters in Rome. It's bringing together global platforms, knowledge, information sharing on wildfire. Agriculture fire will certainly be a big part of the program here in Southeast Asia. It's just beginning. So if anyone would like to get connected, get informed, I'll make sure that ESCAP has all the details as well. It's having its third workshop to actually convene the hub this week. So right at the beginnings of this, and it's the first forum of this nature for fire, obviously as a root cause part of the air pollution problem. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Very interesting from FAO's initiative. Any other? Also, I was waiting for youth. You're from the youth, no? So I was waiting for you to raise the hand and tell us from your views. So anyone from youth groups? Okay, sir.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Khalisane. I'm from the Gambia. Actually, I'm here representing CYMG, Chilean and Youth Major Group to UNEP. So far, all the presentations were wonderful, impeccably done. But as I have been sitting here quite about for 3 to 4 hours, I have been observing a lot of things. So my observation point was the conference itself is regards to the multi-stakeholder collaboration, which I mean regional collaboration to tackle air pollution. But to my observation, I feel like this is actually lacking because I felt Japan presented here, and you have Korea, which whereby they are doing specific projects, which is actually going towards in a way of curbing air pollution, making air quality. But with regards to regional collaboration, I felt this is lacking. So I'm not sure whether this is correct. So if I'm wrong, maybe you can just put me on track. Thank you all.
Thank you. No, very well. So any reactions if... Okay, so we are collecting, then we'll come back on the reactions. So now, any other insights? Yes, please, ma'am.
Hello, everyone. My name is Cristina. I also represent the same constituency. My question will be regarding the civil society, a part of the youth engagement, but mostly civil society engagement within on a political level. We have minister representatives here, but also we do have FAO here and some private sector organizations. So I was wondering what is the collaboration, the level of collaboration with civil society organizations, and if there are any projects or any further ideas on how you can engage civil society, including youth, because youth are not only undergraduate students, but we are young professionals here. I am a One Health professional, so I was wondering how we can be incorporated and also work together alongside and maybe create new policies, because our networks, civil society networks, are huge, and we are collaborating, let's be honest, way better than several UN agencies or private sectors. So you can benefit from us, and we can benefit from the final decision policy decisions. Thank you.
Thank you. So on that question, let's me come back to our panelists. that how they engage civil society. So suppose for UNEP, I'll request Cristina. For ESCAP, I can request Matthew. And for the national governments, Consortium or Kamei-san or Sojung. So let's go from Cristina, then Matthew, then we come to the national governments, that how do they engage civil society in air pollution work? Oh.
Thank you very much. Well, in general, I think we have the institutional engagement channel, and I think you know more than me about that because you are accredited organization. So every time we have UNEA and other intergovernmental fora, we do have a representation of major groups and stakeholders, and I think UNEP is trying to improve with time, you know, the level of engagement, the space, and so on. I think, though, it's important to have engagement at all levels. So there are some cases where, you know, if we consider civil society in a broad sense, we have partnerships, like formal partnerships with many different organizations that help us implement the work. But I think the movement that, you know, that civil society can create in demanding for certain results, I think that's what is very important. So in a way, I would like to turn the question as well, you know, how can we go from having formal engagement to really influencing behaviors and the demand back to those who have, you know, the funding, the decision-making possibility, so that they can deliver what, I guess, the youth is demanding, right? What children are demanding. And I'm not sure if you know, if that link is strong enough, and I think it would be really important to make a difference there. Thanks. Maybe just to mention the last thing, this year in UNEP, we had, I think for the first time, the Youth Assembly in advance. So we do have the major groups and stakeholders forum, always in advance of UNEP, but this time we had a dedicated session for the Youth Assembly. And it would be nice to see also whether that made a difference also in bringing the message beyond UNEP, you know, and back to civil society, even those who are not directly engaged. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, and also at the UNEP, like a regional forum for ministers, we also organize the major groups, and the young one here, she organized last time in October, also that one. So Matthew, ESCAP and youth and major groups or civil society.
Thanks very much. Well, there are three mechanisms that I could highlight immediately for civil society engagement. The working groups that we have on air quality data and standards are open to civil society, and we encourage participation through those. And I'm happy to say we have had a healthy representation in those mechanisms, and we certainly encourage more. Additionally, in our intergovernmental processes, there are opportunities for civil society groups to have inputs there, of course, under the parliamentary process. I'd also like to highlight the involvements that we've made in bringing the voice of youth and civil society into some of our normative platforms, such as the International Day of Clean Air for Blue Sky. We were very happy to have youth engagement in that this last year, and we look forward to further engagement in those mechanisms moving forward. So I think those are all ways that those platforms can be utilized for civil society and youth groups to be able to participate in the discourse. It's 4:40. I should confine myself from controversial statements, but that being said, I will also say one thing that would be very beneficial is for youth groups to be adding a unique voice. I think it is very helpful when we get submissions from youth groups that speak to points that have not already been focused on by other stakeholders. Where is the unique value add is essentially the question. And where we do have those forms of strong, unique, clear voices from a youth perspective, I think a lot of people want to listen to that. So I would encourage participation from both of those vectors. Thanks.
Thank you, Matthew. So let's move to national governments. Kamei-san, are you still with us online?
Yes.
Yeah, so now for Japan, how you engage the civil society, and especially like out of my 20 years in Japan, 3 years I spent Kitakyushu, where there was a lot of civil society movements in 1960s and so on, same in Kawasaki and Osaka. So maybe that history also is quite good. So it's, floor is yours, please.
Thank you, Shak, and thank you very much for his question. So the how to engage with civil society is very important question. So I think for governments and decision makers, knowing the civil society's comments and opinions is very important and essential to considering the policies or some establishment of the, some measures. So Japan is committed to raising public awareness on air quality improvement. So in the context of the international cooperation, so I am very interested in the some comments or opinions from the civil societies. Namely, I'd like to emphasize that civil society's opinion is essential to considering the measures and policies to improve better air quality. So, in that context, I think this kind of workshops or seminars and capacity building programs is a very good opportunity to sharing the information each other from the government side to the and civil society side. So this kind of opportunities, very good example to information sharing. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Kamei-san. So now, Sojung, in Korea, though like I call Jeju my second workstation, the Peace Center and so on. So I see a lot of youth and civil society engagement in Jeju. So over to you, how you engage like.
Thank you for the interesting question. Actually, in Korea, the engagement of citizens and civil society is closely related to the public awareness on air pollution and the importance of their actions in improving air quality. And I'm not a government officer, but as long as I know, there's like special committee apparently called by the president. When it's necessary, we organize this committee, and this committee is consists of like civil society and academia, industries, and diverse groups. So civil societies can have their voice in this special committee, and this opinion is directly delivered to the president. And also, we have other communication channels to listen from the citizens and the civil society, so they can connect to the internet, and then they can let the opinions to the ministry website, and then the officers in charge, they directly reply to the opinion and try to reflect their opinions in their policy-making process. Also, before making important decision of policies, we have this public hearings process. So this process also for participation from citizens and civil societies. Also, you mentioned about the youth program, And the ministry itself, we have the youth program and like internship. So we invited young university students. I don't know, it's like old young students, like university students, and 20 in their 20s, the young people to experience the ministry's works. And also the tripartite environmental ministerial meeting, we have this youth program, the youth forum, so they can actively, engage in this ministerial level international forum. So I think you can also attend the meeting if you can have the channel, because they also have some channels with United Nations Environment Program. And to the I don't know, sorry for I forgot your name, the Zambia, that Mr. Kalin. Yeah, so for the so you pointed out very important point. So you told that like it's like looks like a locked, even though this conference is for multilateral cooperative work. But actually the question was like national level effort, but the governments actually have a lot of made a lot of effort to promote multilateral and bilateral cooperative projects, like we have Korea, China, Japan multilateral policy dialogues. We have ministerial level dialogues and bilateral dialogues, and also we have several projects in collaboration with UNEP and like EANET and ESCAP. I'm sorry for just this short abbreviation. And we also promote OECD project, ESCAP project. But like the reason that I told you that you pointed out the important thing is that this is never enough, the international cooperation projects, like it's very difficult to get deep into the practical level. It's like we share the knowledge and we like try to exchange our technologies and things, but there's a kind of like secret things by country, and there's a like like some obstacles are also there are some obstacles here, and we as the professor from the Queensland University, he said it is also very important to adapt the lessons learned from each country to the other country, depending on their culture, society, economy, and things. So the international collaborative projects and works are very complicating and difficult work. But I think we kind of like take a step forward, and then we continue. So wrap up we made recent year, it can be a like starting point to give a coherent coordination guideline, and then I think we can make progress better later. Thank you.
Thank you, Sojung. So now Thailand, my home for last 8 years.
Thank you, Mustak, and thanks for the question. For Thailand, for all air quality management, all stakeholders are very important. So all stakeholders, including youth and also civil society, we already engaged them in the process, starting from the process to develop policy, measures, planning, and also action plan. By every year, the first actually we have master plan and also action plan, yearly action plan. Before we develop yearly action plan, we open and listen from all stakeholders. And civil society is one of important key for us because they can help them to drive policy implementation. Right? After we have PM 2.5 situation, we do after action review and we invite all stakeholders to meet together and listen from each other, knowledge and also experience learning, and then we conclude for all opinion and comment from all stakeholders, and then we develop the measure and action plan for the next year. Thank you.
Thank you. So now let me quickly request Kay to quickly introduce the three, those regional sort of programs or events. And then during the cocktails, you can discuss with Kay on that. And then if Glenda also here, then she will also do that. So over to Kay, please.
Hello. Okay, thank you. Actually, I'm speaking tomorrow, I think, on the Asia-Pacific Linear Partnerships. I won't go through that anymore, but maybe just to mention that UNEP, together with the World Health Organization, we are the Joint Secretariat for the Asia-Pacific Regional Forum on Health and Environment, which is also, I think, a regional platform that brings together ministries of health and environment to discuss nexus issues for environment and health. Within this platform, there are thematic working groups, one of which is the thematic working group on air quality and health that's currently being chaired by Korea and Cambodia. So currently, the working group is discussing the next 5-year work plan for 2025 to 2029. And we look forward to opportunities to collaborate with different partners here and with the member countries that are part of this regional forum to how to advance this further. We are having our meeting of the thematic working group in June in Osaka, and if there are any interested parties, please just let us know. In addition to that, together with ESCAP, we're also going to be organizing the Asia-Pacific commemoration of the International Day of Clean Air for Blue Skies here in Bangkok on September, I think, 9th. If there are any interested partners as well who would like to collaborate with us for this event, please just approach us or any of the ESCAP colleagues. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And Glenda is there? Yeah, please.
Thank you very much, Mushtaq. I'm from Clean Air Asia, which is an international non-government organization that's helping countries and cities as well as other stakeholders to achieve better air quality for all in this region. And we are working on several fronts. First, the Integrated Better Air Quality program, which actually developed a guidance framework for better air quality in Asian cities, and that was supported by several of you, including the UN agencies and UNEP, and of course the Ministry of Environment of Japan. And in this program, we are focused on assisting cities achieve their air quality goals through developing science-based clean air action plans, but also helping them take action and finding ways by which their mitigation measures in the plans can be funded, including such as through the what was explained earlier by our Ministry of Environment Japan's joint crediting mechanism. And we have a flagship conference called the Better Air Quality Conference, which we hold once every 2 years. Last year, it was held at the Asian Development Bank with ADB and UNEP Climate and Clean Air Coalition as our co-organizers. We're looking forward to having the next BAQ, hopefully in 2025, next year, where we will follow up on the more than 60 projects that were identified through the conference as potential projects for scaling up action on clean air. So I'll be speaking tomorrow, and so I'll stop here. Myself and my colleague, our program manager Dang Casanova, are here, and we look forward to really cooperating with you to scale up action. Having been working with many of you for more than 20 years, I think we have the solutions. We know what the problems and the sources are. We need to scale up action urgently. Thank you.
Thank you, Glenda. So it's very important to work with the Ministry of Health, as I have quite a few experiences that it's a debate between the care versus cure. So like Ministry of Environment comes with a care, like how to address the air pollution before it gets there, and then Ministry of Health, how to address the health impacts of air pollution. So it's very important with the scarce resources. So that's why with WHO, we are working very closely for this regional forum, and Indonesia is the current chair. So now, as I see that time is there, so now because our next is a very secret, I would say, treasure, that Yongran will reveal or do the curtain raiser, and it's equal to Oscars or Grammy or Cannes. So now we will get back to our seats. So big hand to the panelists, and then I will invite Yongran to take over. So thank you very much. Thank you.